William Morris is happily married to his wife, Chloe, and they have a young son named Timothy, whose messy ass reminds me why I don't want my vag stretched. However, he does bring his parents breakfast in bed for their anniversary, but it's not even until next week. Okert Brian White is Foyne. William works as a campaign manager for a mayoral candidate, and they're gearing up for the election, which is in 2 weeks. One day, Chloe receives news that her sister Caroline has found her husband Richard dead in their home. Caroline is so distraught that she can't stay in their home, so she has decided to stay at a hotel temporarily. Chloe tells William that Caroline shouldn't be alone in such a difficult, and convinces the hesitant William to host Caroline until she figures things out. This is sounding quite familiar to a movie we just recapped. Caroline moves into the Morris residence and Chloe does her best to comfort her sister. Caroline tells Chloe that she has a perfect life and admits that sometimes she wants to trade places with her. If it sounds like a trifling ass, then it's a trifling ass. After Caroline tearfully says she misses Richard, Chloe promises that she'll always be there for her. The next morning in the kitchen, Chloe informs William that Timothy's weekend game in Arizona has been moved to the next day, so they have to leave later that evening. Not wanting to miss his game, William attempts to reschedule his other appointments, but Chloe insists that he attend his fundraiser that evening. This bums him out because he hates such work gatherings, and Chloe is the only one who makes them bearable for him because she's a social butterfly. Chloe insists that William take Caroline with him to his fundraiser and introduce her to Scott so she'll be distracted from her grief, but William refuses, saying he isn't comfortable doing so. Miss Caruche is even more beautiful today. She Asian and black so she don't raisin or crack. When Caroline walks in, Chloe informs her about William's fundraiser and that she thinks he should take her since she can't make it. Although Caroline refuses, Chloe insists, which leads to both William and Caroline agreeing. Girl, I think we already know where this be going. Chloe lends Caroline one of her dresses. After they say their goodbyes, Chloe and Timothy head to the airport, while William and Caroline head to the fundraiser. At the fundraiser, William introduces Caroline to his best friend Scott, who is also part of their campaign team. While William mingles and networks, Caroline spends the night drinking whiskey at the bar. William apologizes to Caroline for leaving her alone, to which she tells him that she understands and doesn't mind since she's an antisocial troglodyte anyway. Scott interrupts them to inform William that a man named Mr. Roberts will be donating $1 million to their campaign. To celebrate, he convinces William, who doesn't drink on the job, to drink, and the trio takes multiple shots. As soon as William and Caroline arrive home, Caroline opens a bottle of champagne and convinces the tipsy William to drink more. When he goes to get food, she drugs both of their drinks, and he unknowingly drinks his. When he leaves his drink with her again. When he tells her that he feels weird, she tells him it's okay, making him think that it's just the alcohol. After they finish the entire bottle, Caroline starts kissing William. Through his slurred speech, he tells her that they shouldn't be kissing, but she continues kissing him, and they end up hitting it in the front, hitting it from the back. They don't know how to act. It's crazy rough, like my man know how to hit it good. The next morning, Chloe calls William, and when she says he didn't pick up her call the night before, he tells her that he was tired and went to bed early. She informs him that Timothy's team won, so they will be having a celebration dinner, which Timothy wants to go to, and will delay their return until the next morning. When she asks about Caroline, he tells her that she had fun, feeling guilty. After the call, Caroline, who's dressed in only her underwear and his button-up shirt, apologizes about what happened the night before and tries to make it up to him by offering to cook for him. Feeling terrible, he tells her that it was a mistake and that he wants to go for a walk to clear his head, in which Caroline joins him. Caroline then shares that she and Richard weren't as happy as they seemed to be. They head to a bar to grab something to eat. When he goes to the restroom, she follows him, kisses him, and they end up doing it near the nasty-ass urinals, smelling that good ammonia. William later awakens in bed next to Caroline and immediately dresses up. When Caroline reminds him that Chloe won't be back until the next morning, William reiterates that what happened. William finds an "I'm sorry" note from Caroline. He finds her unconscious in a full tub, where he also finds an empty pill bottle and an admission letter for Chloe, where she apologizes for making love with William, saying they both got caught up in the moment. He pulls her out of the tub and calls for help. Honestly, I would have just let the hoe die and burned the note. In the hospital, Caroline apologizes to William, who tells her that he needs to get ready for work and Chloe is on her way. Caroline tells him that he needs to tell Chloe about them so they can be together. She starts sobbing and confessing to William as if he's Chloe, saying he took advantage of her vulnerability and forced himself into her, and abruptly stops and asks if it's believable. Horrified of her actions, William plays along to not solicit violent reactions from her. When Chloe arrives, William informs her that the doctor said Caroline overdosed on pills, which is probably caused by traumatic stress and depression. He adds that Caroline needs help, and it will be best to have her stay somewhere else because he doesn't want Timothy to see such behavior, especially because she almost died in their house. Although reluctant, Chloe agrees. Later, Caroline calls William in his office, furious that he didn't call her, but he hangs up. Scott then suggests paying an Uber to pick her up at the hospital and drop her off at a hotel. To William's horror, the hospital released the batshit Caroline early, prompting Chloe to pick her up and bring her back home. Later that night, while William is working in his home office, Caroline sneaks in, startling him, and happily informs him that she is pregnant with his baby, which she considers a sign that they're soulmates. When he assures her that he'll be there for her when they get rid of it, she firmly tells him that she's going to keep the baby because she's in love with him, and they're meant to be together. Caroline tells William that she's going to tell Chloe everything so they can be together, confident that Chloe will leave him. Furious, William takes the phrase, "Choke me, daddy," seriously, and threatens to end her life if she tells Chloe everything and if she doesn't leave. At work, William informs Scott about Caroline's pregnancy and her threats. Scott suggests he goes to the police because things are getting out of hand. Meanwhile, at home, Caroline is discouraging Chloe from dressing sexy for their anniversary dinner, saying she should dress classy, not trashy. Caroline then reveals that she's pregnant, but it's not Richard's, which intrigues Chloe. But she promises to talk about it next time, to not overshadow their anniversary. William and Chloe head to the restaurant for their anniversary dinner. While she's in the restroom, Caroline arrives wearing Chloe's sexy dress, angering William. When he orders her to leave, fearing Chloe will see her, she demands that he promise her one more night away from his house. Later that night, Caroline sees Chloe riding William like an Uber, declaring their love for each other while making love, causing her to break down and vomit. William talks to a detective about his situation. Later that night, William tearfully confesses to Chloe that with Caroline in their home, and Caroline's baby is his. At first, she's too stunned to speak. This causes a loud fight, which Timothy sees. When Chloe sees him, she immediately apologizes to him and asks him to go to his room. Chloe breaks down and starts packing. She also angrily calls Caroline, calling her a fucking bitch, warning her never to come around her family again. Meanwhile, Caroline is delighted with the chaos her loose clams created. She calls William, telling him they can be together now that Chloe has, which angers William more. Chloe, together with Timothy, stays at the apartment of her friend Kim, and William calls to check on them. When Timothy tells William that Chloe is very sad, William explains that he messed up and asks him to hug, kiss, and take care of Chloe for him until they reunite. William visits Chloe and explains that Caroline drugged him and violated him, but Chloe doesn't believe him. She says she loves him, but she can't get past the fact that something happened between him and her sister and demands a divorce. The devastated William returns home and informs Scott about what's happening. He keeps reaching out to Chloe, who refuses to talk to him. Chloe later goes for an evening walk to clear her head. Meanwhile, Caroline arrives at the Morris residence with a gun, furious that William doesn't recognize that she's the love of his life. With only 3 bullets, she makes him choose who to shoot, her, Chloe, or their unborn child. I mean, you don't really want him to answer that. When he tells her to calm her down, she tells him that she should probably kill both of them so no one can separate them. Caroline ties William's hands and feet, reveals that she killed Richard, and forces William to seal the self-harm note she made on his behalf with his saliva. Hoping she'll spare him, William informs her that Chloe is divorcing him so they can now be together, which tickles her kitty cat like no other. She then admits to drugging and violating him because she knows he won't willingly cheat on Chloe. Chloe, who has decided to return to their residence, sees Caroline swinging a knife at William, prompting her to save him. While the sisters struggle, William manages to free himself and knocks down Caroline. As the couple tries to escape, Caroline catches up to them and injures Chloe with her knife. William fights with Caroline and shoots the troglodyte, resulting in her death. The couple reunites as the cops and paramedics arrive. If you were Chloe, would you take William back? Having a trifling hoe-ass sister doesn't help, but at least the hoe dead. What did you guys think of this one? Unfortunately, Brian White was the only good actor in the movie. The babysitter outacted everyone else.